Good morning. Buenos días, mi gente. How are we doing this morning? ¿Cómo estamos? I hope everyone's waking up really well this morning on this beautiful morning. We are joining you today for Cafecito con HACE. So thank you for joining us, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement. We are a national nonprofit organization whose mission is to positively impact workplaces through cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent by providing insight, support, and access for Latino professionals to be successful in their careers. My name is Lisandra Jimenez, and I'm happy to be joining you this morning. So, hello to our audience members. If you're a returner, we'd love to have you back. And if you are new to Cafecito con Ace, please let us know where you're joining us from in the chat as well. We'd love to hear from you. Our special guest for today is Stephen Hodge, my colleague and partner in crime from our programs department here at ACE. So, Stephen, feel free to say hello.
Yes, hello. So happy to be here with you, Lisandra. Good morning, and hello to everyone watching, tuning in.
Thank you, Stephen. We will hear from Stephen shortly. But first, I'd like to make a couple of announcements to our audience members as you're joining us. Please let us know where you're joining us in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, some announcements for you, some updates related to our programs and upcoming events. So, we currently have quite a couple of our professional leadership programs and student leadership programs that are open for our spring 2024 season. We have our Mujeres de HACE, our Latina leadership program, Mujeres de HACE Entrepreneurs for Latina entrepreneurs, currently open. And then for our student programs, we have our El Futuro, who is our high school leadership program. So for that, we're specifically looking for Arizona area students. And that has been made possible with the support of the Deloitte Foundation. So we're very happy to have that moving forward this spring. And then we also have our university leadership program for our student program. So any college students that you know of or that are joining us tuning in, we have those applications currently open and closing today. So feel free to apply to those. We'll post a couple of links in the chat so you can see some of those programs. And then also wanted to know our coaching corner coming up as well in February 15th. Our coaching corner program is something that we do on a monthly basis where we bring in an executive coach to help with any particular goals or any issues that you want to talk about related to your career trajectory, development, your journey as a professional. So feel free to join us for Coaching Corner. We charge a nominal fee and you're able to get access to that executive coaching at a great level. All right, so that's it for announcements for today. We'll post some of those links in the chat so you can join some of our leadership programs or tell a professional that you know who may be interested. So, with our cafecito, we typically start out with asking our guests about, of course, their cafecito preference. So,
Mhm.
audience, we'd love to hear from you. How do you like your cafecito in the morning or your morning beverage of choice? Stephen, as we start our conversation, how about
Yes,
you? Tell us a little bit more about how you take your cafecito or your morning beverage of choice.
yes. No, I'm ready with my cafecito mug swag, and I'm simple. I like my dark roast drip with a little bit of steamed oat milk and just a little bit of raw sugar, and I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
It's funny how
So
you said simple. That sounds complex to me.
right, okay, yeah, yeah. It in my mind it's simple, but I can understand, especially when we know that there's just some people that straight espresso in the morning,
That's
one or
true.
two shot, that you can't get any more simple than that, so I get it, yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you for sharing, Steven. We have a couple folks that also like oat
Mhm.
milk as well, a couple with vanilla. I see some folks
Mhm.
cafe con leche. So
Yeah,
definitely some variety in our different cafecito choices. I am unfortunately or fortunately team agua.
there
So
you go. Yeah.
water for the most
Hmm.
part, not a cafecito drinker at the moment. Thank you, Steven. And then, so our audience members can get to know you a little bit better, we'd love to hear a little bit more about you, Steven. So, can you tell us more about your cultural background and also your professional background, how you got to where you are today in your career?
Sure, yeah, thank you. Well, I'm of Dominican descent, born and raised in New Jersey, but currently have been living in Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee, for the last 3 years. That's quite a big jump for me. Definitely a culture shock there, but I was fortunate enough that throughout my career, different positions, there were different occupations. My background in social and behavioral sciences is what opened the door for me to get into healthcare for a bit. But my passion is in education. So the majority of my experience has been in secondary education and higher ed. That's moving to Tennessee was to get into that realm, into higher education. Um, and then for different circumstances of life, being able to encounter ACE and definitely join this familia as a program manager, definitely one of the better decisions that I've made, uh, just because of the impact that my work here gets to have on others who are part of the same community as I am. So I'm very grateful for that. So that combination of education and occupation, I've been very fortunate that it's always been in areas and in realms that I actually enjoy and get to do what I love. So
That's awesome to hear. That's definitely a privilege. As we know, not everyone gets to be able to do what they love. And so it
mhm,
becomes not work, right? It
mhm.
becomes something you just enjoy doing every day. And I think a common thread that I see with some of the things you shared, even with healthcare or higher education, is just a lifelong educator. Would you consider yourself sort of a lifelong educator, loves to have access, educate our communities, things like that?
Yes, and that passion comes from not from the sense of hearing myself talk, but more to serve and live as a facilitator, like always creating an environment where everyone feels welcome and everyone feels free to think and can gain the tools to think in a positive way, critically. So that classroom environment or that type of setting has always been very attractive to me, to be where the thinkers are, to be where the learners are, and just make sure to always foster that environment, whether virtually through one of our programs or on a campus through type other auxiliary work. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I know there's a lot of things going on in the world currently, so it definitely becomes a lot more important to hone in on those different spaces where we can have that freedom to speak and be able to share ideas, perspectives, dialogue about what's going on, and support one another as well. So that work becomes really crucial at this moment in time that we continue to live.
Yes, I agree.
So, audience members, will definitely give you a chance to ask some questions of Steven. So, as you hear his story and more about what he's sharing, feel free to share if you have any questions or comments in the chat, and we'll elevate those later on as well. Continuing our conversation. So, we are colleagues. You are also part of our programs department here at ASE. So, in that role as an ASE program manager, we'd love to hear a little bit more about if you can speak to some of the benefits of participating in our ASE leadership programs. I know we've grown and have many at this point. So, if you can talk a little bit about those benefits to Latino professionals and multicultural professionals joining our programs, and in what ways have you been able to really witness those benefits come to fruition and that transformation that has happened for participants?
Yeah, I would like to start off by answering that with focusing on our overarching umbrella of what really makes what we offer unique. Even though we have unique specific programs, but over the umbrella over all of them is one, I think, the benefit of our network, our ASE Familia. The moment a participant joins in one of our programs, it's becoming a part of a larger thing, part of a larger body, and that stays with you. You can mention Ase, and if there's someone else in the room who has participated, graduated, that there's an instant connection. And we have our network is so vast that they go across so many different career paths and occupations and so many levels that it just really makes that connecting experience and networking experience unique. I would say a second benefit is the coaching that's made available through our programs. We have a unique assessment tool called Insights Discovery, which really serves to make you the best leader that you can be. or the tool that can be used to hone in on the better parts of yourself, and how to really develop the areas that need improvement, and all with the goal of making you or helping you be a better leader. And that's facilitated through our unique coaching experience as well. So those are definitely two of the benefits that everyone can share in collectively. But even another benefit to the unique service of each program that we offer, from El Futuro University to more of our management level programs across the board, Mujeres, Hombres, Colores. I could start naming them all, but the good thing is that we have so many that you, whoever's watching, can find one that applies to you into the stage of life, into the stage of career that you're in right now, and that can help you enter the next stage in your career. So that is a great benefit. Everything is adapted to you as a member to be able to make sure that you are gaining what you need to take you to the next level. So definitely great benefits. I've witnessed that myself, even in the short time that I've been here, being able to witness our graduation last fall or early winter, just seeing the excitement that everyone who was there knew that they had accomplished something special, something unique, and something that they can take with them into their next stage in life and in their career. So being able to witness that was really, um, I appreciate being able to witness that a lot.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Stephen. We do talk a lot about the importance of networks and being able to find your network, find your mentors, your supporters, sponsors. So, definitely a great benefit of our leadership programs. And as you mentioned, since we have such a lengthy pipeline, you really have all of those different connections and folks that you can connect with to be able to elevate you to that next level,
Yes.
as well as our insights discovery assessment that you mentioned. Definitely elevates you to that next level as well as a leader, being able to hone in on your strengths and improve those weaknesses or areas of improvement that you may have. I see some comments in the chat here for elevating. So, definitely some of your statements are ringing true with some of our audience members, mentioning the importance of coaching and how that can be life changing as well. And I see one of our Hombres de HACE alums joining us as well, Hanif, who's sharing some love for you as well and leading that program. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's move on to the main topic that we're here for, and it's our Hombres de HACE program. So, after 15 years of our Mujeres de HACE program, our Latina leadership, we finally were able to launch Hombres de HACE, its sort of parallel program equivalent, specifically for male identifying Latino professionals, and to
Mhm.
really be able to have that unique space where we can talk about some of that those nuances and cultural differences with that role, their identity, and being able to talk that through, work through that in this leadership program. So, Stephen, you oversee our Hombres de HACE program, and we were able to have our inaugural cohort last year for the first time, and then graduated successfully in the fall of 2023.
Mhm.
So, if you can tell us a little bit more about the Hombres de HACE program, your experience with it, and tell our audience members why they should join or refer a professional.
Yes, no, it was a great honor to be able to be leading that program, which you, Lisandra, have been very supportive, very helpful. You and Jillian were able to spearhead that and then shepherd me into it and tag me in. And I was able to carry it towards the end. So I appreciate the great foundational work that you and Jillian did to get that started, to get it going. And it was a historical moment, right? Our inaugural program. We have a lot of firsts coming up through our pipeline, and that was one of the latest ones. And good to see Hanif here present, and all of our Hombres alum that are watching. But that was a great program because the question always comes to, why one just geared towards men, why, or male identifying, and hombres, when there's already so many, they can participate in any other program that we already offer. And Mujeres was our longest standing staple. But it was important because it answers unique questions and it addresses things in a setting that is one safe for sharing, right? But also that unique from facilitators, program leads, guest speakers, and it is definitely made specific with that in mind. Participants are coming in to be able to excel and get themselves ready for the next stage in their career and their leadership capacity. The things that we address in Hombres de HACE are from the get go is making sure we address topics of machismo, marianismo, all the things that actually hinder all the things that actually hinder hombres from excelling in their career, right? Being able to be a better leader is to be able to create a more inclusive environment in the workplace. And there's a lot of cultural factors, a lot of cultural things that we dig through to make sure that you are taking off, hombres are taking off all the things that are delaying their acceleration in their career. Um, so I'm very proud of that program, very proud of our inaugural class. Very good group. They definitely dedicated their time and their effort to make it a success, along with our program leads and guest speakers. So we're very proud of that inaugural cohort, and we're ready to see the next one this year also really take off and grow.
Thank you for sharing, Stephen. We'd love to hear from our audience members. You heard a little bit more about Stephen, a little bit more about Hombres de HACE. So let us know if you have any questions that Stephen can answer, any insights, please share in the chat with us. Stephen, you shared a couple of things there. So that was jam packed with some nuggets of knowledge, as I like to call it. Definitely, as we talk about a very important space to have, right, for that particular population. And as we really think about social justice, equity, all of us really have to be involved in those type of conversations, right, for that to really come to fruition. It cannot simply be the folks who are most affected by oppression or lack of equity that are speaking out. It really has to be all of us. And I know we share a lot of statistics and trends going on in terms of inequities with Latinas, the pay gap, lack of representation in corporate America. So definitely important to have our counterparts, Latino males as well, be able to talk about some of those issues for us together to find solutions and ways to overcome some of those barriers. So definitely a very important space. So let's see. We have a couple comments from our audience members here. I know we have one question from Daniel asking, how can someone get involved with ACE? All right, Stephen, I'm sure you can share.
Yes, no, please, step one, visit assetonline.org. Please visit our catalog of programs. You'll be able to reach us through the contact page on there. There's also our contact information. Each program has its own set of dates, has its own set of onboarding dates. So please, that's step number one. Number two, do not hesitate to reach out to us here on LinkedIn, also all of our pages or all across social media, wherever you're watching from. And feel free to email us directly to at program dept at assetonline.org as well, and we'll be able to find a program that best suits you and really get you going on your journey to your next level in leadership.
If you want to take your involvement to the next level with us, I'll just quickly plug. We do have some open positions currently. So if you're looking for any type of career transition or currently looking for a role, ASSET does have a couple of roles open. So feel free to take a look at those on our website and apply as well. All right. So we see some more audience members joining us from all over, sharing some more comments. Stephen, we typically like to end our cafecitos with the same question for our guests because we really want to end on a positive note. And so our conversation thus far has been so positive. So our last question is typically, as you're thinking about this year, what is something that you're hopeful for or a positive story that gives you hope for this year?
I'll share two things that are giving me hope, at least definitely on a professional level for 2024. One is very exclusive to us as an organization, right? Which is our launching of Colores, which is a program I've not brought up, but we're very excited for that program because it will be highlighting intersectionalities, and it will really be serving a community that we want to really serve them properly, adequately, and offer materials that can really help excel to the next level in their career. So we're very excited that we get to offer that and serve our familia with this new program. But also on a much broader level, it's no secret that this year is an election year. So I'm very hopeful for all of organizational leaders and presidents, CEOs, ERG, BRG leadership, CDOs that are really going to step up to make sure that their workplaces remain a safe space, that their employees feel valued, and that they'll really be able to just bring out the best in their corporate body and their teams. Despite everything else that might be going on this year, I'm very hopeful knowing that we're going to have leadership that stands up and says this is a safe space and our employees can feel welcome here and that they can do their best work here. So I'm very hopeful for that.
Thank you for sharing, Stephen. And you did mention intersectionality. We are such an intersectional community as Latinos, so important to also have those spaces. Thank you for sharing with us today. We're happy to have you on our cafecito. Now, you did mention we have a question in the chat about intersections. You mentioned a little bit about intersectionality. So, do you see what intersections do you see between your experience in higher ed and your work with ACE so far?
Yes, thank you so much for asking that question, Bernice. That this is something I'm very proud of, not just for myself, but our team as a whole. Our background really helps to supplement the curriculum and materials that we prepare for our programs. So not just my background in higher education, but all the program managers we have are so well equipped and so well knowledged to be able to format, to edit, to really adapt all the curriculum that is offered, of course, with input from advisors and people who are living experiences. And so there's a whole big team and effort that goes into developing the curriculum that we offer. But as program managers, we are here to ensure that our participants are receiving the best material possible each session. And I'm just so happy that we have such a well-equipped, well-educated team to be able to do that effectively. So
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Stephen. Kudos to you and the work that you're doing with Hombres de HACE. I already see some excitement in the chat about joining the cohort. So Stephen will follow up. Thank you to our audience for joining us. We'll see you next time on Cafecito con HACE.
thank you, everyone.